Now, Turkey's defense ministry has set up a joint coordination center for resumption of Ukraine grain exports. Will that really happen? So to discuss this issue with us are Dr. Hanna Shelest from Ukrainian Prism, a foreign policy council in Ukraine. And from Turkey, we have Omer Ozkizilcik, foreign policy and security analyst. Good evening to you as well. Hanna, I'd like to start with you. Are you optimistic regarding this UN initiative, UN agreement?
Definitely, I would like to be optimistic, but unfortunately, I need to be very realistic. And one of the reasons for this is that less than 24 hours after the agreement was signed in Istanbul last Friday, on Saturday, we had very severe attack against Odessa, exactly against the seaport. And on Sunday, we had attack against another port. So we see that the Russian Federation have definitely demonstrated that what they can do and what they are going to do. What struck me even more were their explanation after, because in the agreement it is said that the parties will not attack merchant ships and port facilities involved in this initiative. So for everybody who read it, it means not attacking ports of Odessa, port of Chernomorsk, and port of Yuzhny, those three about which is this agreement. Russians said, no, that is just about 2-3 berths where the ships will be anchoraged for the loading operations. And you see, when they're starting to manipulate with the agreement that they just signed by themselves and negotiated for months, because negotiated started back in April, it's really make you a little bit more optimistic, and you start trying to understand what is the real reasons behind the agreement of the Russian Federation to create this joint coordination center.
So, Omar, let me ask you this. Will Turkey be able to make sure this thing is working more than just a piece of paper?
So I have to say that this deal is essential to prevent an food crisis in the world, and therefore we have to try. And Turkey is the only country who can achieve this, as Turkey has the relationship with Ukraine and with Russia. And we have to know that this is like negotiating with a kidnapper. Russia is kidnapping the Ukrainian grain, and Russia will use this furthermore, and Russia will continue to blackmail. We have seen in Turkey, in our previous agreements with Russia, that they have always acted like the previous speaker from Ukraine has explained, that they have manipulated the agreement and have tried to torpedo it and have tried to gain even more than what was being agreed on the agreement in text. So therefore, we can expect that Russian aggressions will happen, but ultimately it will be the Turkish diplomacy which enabled this agreement in the first place, which will also facilitate the Ukrainian grain to go to the world and to ease the food crisis we are expecting out. So therefore, I'm quite optimistic about the Turkish approach, and I think the Turks have learned over the years how to deal with blackmailing and kidnapping Russia, and how to force Russia to abide by the agreements it has signed. And I'm here pessimistic, but still hopefully that it will go on and it will achieve its goal. I think that Russia will torpedo and will slow down the process, but in the end, the grain and everything will be go through the Bosporus Straits to the world, I hope.
Yeah, Dr. Shelest, let me ask you, how much of the regular crop can Ukraine export today, relatively to past times?
In past times, usually we exported up to 20 million tons per month, and approximately 70-80% of these cereals being exported by sea. So by land, by railway, it's been very, very small amount of the grains going mostly to the European Union. As for now, for the last month's data, we have only 1 million being exported by land and rail. Because just try to imagine one track or 50,000 tons that you can take by ship. So definitely that is absolutely different capacities of the transportation of the shipping. And now we are in the process of the new harvest. So we already had more than 20 million from the last year harvest that should be exported in February and March when the war started. And now up to 100 million tons of the new grains are expected. Even that we expect, let's say, 80% 60% from the last year harvest, because many territories are under the fire now or under the occupation. But still, you can imagine we're talking about quite a significant amount. And it's not only wheat. We are talking about barley. We are talking about sunflower. Don't forget that this agreement is not only about cereals. It also covers such an important things as sunflower, and Ukraine is the biggest in the world exporter of the sunflower oil.
I see. Well, we'll leave it at that, and we'll be happy to follow and see what's happening with this. The whole world is actually following this, and we will as well. Thank you very much.